Hey guys, Roll with Wes coming at you real quick. Day 4 here, talking about filled with what? Now today I said we were going to talk about uh, the blinking indicators. Kind of how do you recognize, man, what I'm filled with? Check your emotions. That is one of the number one things you'll realize, and that's not as easy as I just put it out there, but it is one of the biggest things that you'll realize. Check your emotions. Notice how you're feeling. Take a pause, and it'll affect your actions. So sometimes you check out, okay, why am I making the decisions I'm making? You have to go backwards and say, what am I feeling? Is it positive or negative? That's the easiest way. And then once you kind of trace, well, I got this negative emotion, so what is this tied to? And you're going to check your thoughts, is what it is. Psalms 139, the last two scriptures David was talking about, he was going through all kind of mess and craziness. He was one moment praising God, the next moment saying, kill these people, God, that are persecuting me and trying to take my life and all this other stuff. But then he comes around and said, test me, O God, or examine my heart. Check my anxious thoughts. What's the anxious thoughts you got? You want to know what you're filled with? Follow the anxious thoughts. Now, if you don't have any, you're going to be at a place of peace. You're going to be a place at, where, yeah, I think there's always the element of pressure of having anxious thoughts. But it's different when you're in a position to resist them. It's different when you're in a position to not let them captivate you. And they're more of the thoughts have pressure on you, but more of the thoughts that you're giving into. And you can tell at times. And you don't have to pull out off and on through the day. It depends on the intensity of the situation you deal with. These aren't just, I'm going to just stay in this position automatically, like, bam, I'm automatically, in the position of always peace, always not thinking these things. No, sometimes it's constantly having to go back and forth and manage it all day long. Where you're going through a tough situation, you're constantly having to check your indicator. Where it's like, man, I thought I set my thoughts and my days, I cleaned all that out, I had my good time with God this morning, then all of a sudden, 45 minutes later, it feels like I'm all back there. It's because you're having to go back and forth and resist. That's what it is. I think people think you just arrive in like this state of it, and you're just like, I'm right here, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and here it is. It's not that. It's continuously called life. So you constantly to stay in this place of what are you filled with? Constantly, like we talked about earlier, being filled continuously. Because there's always something coming in. There's always something trying to get in. So it's that constant, I'm being refilled with God, refilled with God, refilled with God. And like I said, depending on the intensity of the situation, you may have to do that more often. But back to the blinking indicators, it's looking for the thoughts of fear. Where's your head drifting to? And then you start realizing, let me locate what's making me afraid, by the way. But it's when the blinking indicators, check your emotions. See if they're negative, they're positive. If they're negative, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling so you can figure it out and allow God to walk you through it. Bounce it off somebody that's reasonable, that's sound, that's a good friend, close circle friend, you can trust it, and then bounce it off God. Ultimately, that's what you do, and you'll walk it back and you'll find, man, I'm living in fear. I'm worried about stuff. I'm stressed about stuff, and all the toxic emotion is flowing through that. And what's that trying to do? Trying to captivate your attention and get you meditating on it. And in that moment, what do? You replace it by meditating on something else. You don't say, I'm not going to meditate. No, you say, I'm going to meditate on something else. I'm going to think on these things. That's what Paul talked about in Philippians 4. Think on these things. Whatever's pure, whatever's good, whatever's lovely, whatever's noble. Think on these things. That's so important to do. So choose what you think on today. Locate, if you got negative emotions, rewind and say, all right, what's going on here? Take a moment, figure it out, locate what's worrying you, and then saying, all right, God, your love has dealt with this. So I'm going to focus on your love. I'm going to meditate on those things. And I'm going to give this over to you, and I'm going to give the care of it over to you, and I'm going to trust this for you to handle, because I am a person that lives by faith, lives in the love of God, and doesn't live in fear. So, all right, gave you a couple quick blinking indicators. It's not a million things. It's check your emotions and then start walking it back. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. We'll get in a little more tomorrow. Have a great day.